Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and this is a WORKPRO 12-volt cordless polisher sander. Now the reason I'm showing you this is because I absolutely love this Milwaukee one, but it's a little on the pricey side, and because of the nature of the way this connector works, which basically is a screw-in port here, you end up not being able to use it for pretty much anything else than what it was designed for. And that's where this comes in, because it's a whole lot less expensive. It feels really dense in the hand, and it's a torquey little tool. But what I primarily use this for, or use these for, is to polish headlights. For some reason, a lot of the plastic covers on headlights, I don't know why it isn't as much on taillights. I guess some it is, but anyway, they tend to get cloudy. And the only way you can really fix that is to polish it down. In other words, just maybe take off that cloud using, I use this stuff here, this polishing compound. You can do other polishing compounds. I've heard toothpaste even works. If you go anything more than, you know, the super fine polishing finish work stuff, you might actually take out the plastic, too much of it. And if you hold this in one spot, you can actually melt the plastic. But anyway, I'm showing you this because it's quite affordable. I saw that WORKPRO had one of these, so I contacted WORKPRO and said, hey, this form of a tool is one of my favorites for that job. I have done videos where I've used a drill, where I've used a die grinder. The die grinder actually just doesn't have enough torque. This thing, well, here it is in action. As you can see, this thing, it's a very powerful little tool. It comes with two 2-amp-hour batteries. Now, I looked online. If you want to see something weird about pricing, look up the Milwaukee online and how much is it? It's all over the place. And in fact, I did see for $200 you can get one on Home Depot with two 3-amp-hour batteries, so that's probably a deal. But for this one, the WORKPRO here, you've got something that is about, it's under $70 on the WORKPRO site, but then there's also coupons that pop up. They're advertising a Halloween sale. I mean, you might be able to get into one of these fairly inexpensively. What do we have? We've got this torquey little driver with 2 speeds, low and high. Now on the low speed, you're getting 0 to 2,800 RPMs. That's what happens when you... And then on high, you get 0 to 7,500 RPMs. And I found that a little bit too much for, the headlamps. If I compare that to the Milwaukee, it's the same 0 to 200 or 2,800 on the low. That's a zero load. And this one does go a little higher. It says 0 to 8,300 compared to the 7,500 of the WORKPRO. Either way, I don't use the top end as much, but for sanding, by the way, it comes with some things. Let me go over that real quick. Several different sanding discs. This sheepskin style buffing wheel, 2 of these Velcro pads, one's already on, 3 of these, this is the polishing. By the way, you can buy a 3M version of this for about $20, just this pad. It's crazy. And then some of these finer buffing pads here. So that's what comes with it, plus a bag if you want to store it all in there, and the battery and charger, or batteries and charger. Anyway, so we've got the 2 speeds there. You've got 3 ports for this handle. So this is kind of neat. You can put this on this end, which is something the Milwaukee doesn't have. It's just got the 2 ports on either side. Frankly, it can be as helpful as it is in the way. So I'm glad it easily comes off. It's also easy to get the batteries off, these 2-amp-hour batteries, compared to the Milwaukee. Sometimes those are a little tougher. I don't have trouble, but I don't have arthritis, but I do hear a lot of people complain about not being able to pull those things off. It feels a little lighter than the Milwaukee. This is under 2 pounds, which is not a whole lot for a torquey little tool like this. And the thing that I really like about this one is you do have to push this button. At first it was a hassle, but I've triggered the Milwaukee accidentally, especially if you're working around things. And if you've got a sanding disc on anything, you, especially like this guy, I don't know if that's some kind of oxide or, anyway, it's so easy to mess things up, to accidentally nick something and then create a bigger job. So this one, even though it's a bit of a hassle because you have to push this in on either side to get this thing to fire, you're not going to accidentally be manipulating it and then, whoops, and then accidentally hitting it. I guess it's a negligent discharge. I don't believe in accidental ones, but anyway, so that took me a bit to get used to, and now I see that's probably a good idea. And there are things like that, you know, with the die grinder here, having that little toggle before you can depress this paddle switch, sort of the same thing. The price on this, well, I would put it in it's a tool that pays for itself, maybe in 2 jobs, unless you farm out the polishing of your headlights. If you do, this will pay for itself in 1 headlight, given how much people charge to clean headlights. But it's so fast, so easy, so quick. And when you're using something like this, you're supposed to be a little careful. I used to do that. I'd use tape around it. I was following the 3M instructions when I first started cleaning headlights. Now I just squirt stuff on it and go to town. If it was somebody else's vehicle, I might be a little careful around the paint, but instead I have to do this so often, you know, probably once a year, which is ridiculous, depending on the car. And so having something like this that I can just quickly go out and clean it up. As far as using sanding, yeah, I use the sander on this sometimes when I'm polishing things out. Sometimes I've used them with wood. Mostly it's with metal. And it's a very portable tool for that. Instead of using my grinder or I've got, it appears in my video, sometimes my Delta belt sander and sanding wheel. So I'm very quick to modify stuff. And something like this easily does the job. How long will it last? I don't know. I do worry a little bit about how open the ports are here. Obviously, these things require ports. In fact, if you look at this one, you can see you know, there's access there in this die grinder, and you can see that I've got, you know, all kinds of stuff has gotten in there. This one does look like there's a little bit of a filter there. I don't know, but something to pay attention to. But it's a really powerful tool. You feel that as soon as you touch it onto something, you can feel it. This die grinder bogged down right away. This Milwaukee does really well, but this is right in there. It is a powerful little motor. And then it also opens you up to the other WORKPRO tools once you're in that battery system, which is something I'm kind of curious about. I'm glad to see they're making these sort of specialized, affordable tools. Put a link below to the WORKPRO site. You can also get them on Amazon. I'll put that link too. I don't know what shipping and stuff is, but for a solid little polisher that'll pay for itself almost instantly if you're doing headlights, there you go. And with that, Doc out.